Yeah,
I mean, not to mention that Dwight does it did it to his own team.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Sitting on the bench.
That's something that's totally different than what we're talking about. He wasn't trying to agitate his teammate. Something bad happened that day.
I just had to make sure I put that out there.
Terribly bad happened that day.
But yeah, the Dirk situation. Yeah, grab the man's balls.
Well,
Look, it's
my point
I
is,
get the whole thing, but that's a lot.
my point in general is that Lance is 24. He's still a young player. He can go out there. I heard Bomani talking today. Bomani Jones talking about like the kind of the one of the I guess kind of weird parts about it is that he's going to be pretty much out there competing for playing time with one Austin Rivers. So that's like that whole dynamic there is going to get weird.
No, it just makes it easy for Dad. No, this makes it easy for Doc.
How?
That's what
You just heard me say Lance shot 17% last year.
Yeah, because I don't really expect.
Well, from the three.
I mean, I expect. Well, I shouldn't say that because let me just say this. Lance kind of disappointed me in Charlotte because based on what he did in Indiana. Well, first I didn't think he should have left Indiana anyway. But you got to get paid, and Larry, what was the deal? Larry Bird didn't want to pay him what he wanted. That was the deal,
I don't know. I think Lance also part of it was he wanted a fresh start. He had the feeling like people in Indiana had turned on him, and he didn't feel welcome anymore. And who wants anybody to stay there?
Larry Bird said he wanted him.
Well, that's one person. We're talking about the city of Indiana, of Indianapolis.
Well, going to Charlotte and people thinking that you're gonna be a budding star. Like, see, that whole thing in Charlotte is kind of crazy, especially when the damn owner is talking about how he can beat everybody on his damn roster in one-on-one. Like, see,
well, he's Michael Jordan.
Well, yeah, I know he's Michael Jordan, but that's what I'm getting at. It's like
this dude's gonna always be Michael. In his mind, he's gonna just like we talked about Kobe. In Kobe's mind, every time he steps on the floor, you know what he is? The best player on the floor. Every time. There's no one that's gonna ever be able to tell Michael Jordan that you're not better than somebody.
The owner showing up for practice, and he out there talking trash to you like he's still in the game. Like, and I'm not making excuses for Lance, but maybe this thing in LA helped resurrect what people thought that he could be.
Well, I mean, it's kind of do or die for Lance.
I mean, because every place ain't for everybody.
Nah.
And like I said, there's nobody that since Michael Jordan is on their team. Look, man. There's been nobody that's felt like that. Maybe Kemba Walker feels like that because he's a point guard.
Well, I mean, don't forget, they started off pretty well last year. And then Kemba got hurt.
Well,
he had to sit out a couple months.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they did decently, last year.
But I just don't think. I mean, I think the dynamic of it is different. I haven't been around it, nor have I heard that. But I don't know. But it's a reason. It's a reason that this team can't turn around, whether they're the Hornets or whether they're the Bobcats.
They need talent.
It's something going.
It's like everybody else. They need talent.
Well,
that's what it boils down to.
They sucked enough that they should have. They should have talent. But again, like I say, that's like Grant Hill showing up at Hawks practice next year when the team started practicing. He out there talking trash. I can beat all y'all out. I can beat all y'all.
We're talking about different animals. Like it's like what I talked about yesterday with Sepp Blatter. It's like, why does that surprise you? He's always that guy. Like Michael Jordan's going to be that guy, and Kobe Bryant's going to be that guy forever. You know what I mean? That no one's going to be ever able to tell them that someone else is going to beat them. They feel like they'll find a way. Here's a story that hits home. So Thabo Cephalosha and Pero Antich, I don't know if you guys remember, a couple months ago before the playoffs started, got into an incident outside of a New York nightclub when they were in town to play the New Jersey or the Brooklyn Nets. I keep doing that.
Well, they were there for that. Wasn't it a back-to-back? Didn't they do Brooklyn, then do the Knicks or something like that?
I think they did the Knicks, then Brooklyn. And Indiana was in town as well, getting out of town, and there was a stabbing that occurred. Anyway, Thabo Cephalosha and Pero Antich were both obtained. And let me make sure I find this thing so I can tell you guys, give you guys the whole story, and tell you what the charges were. All right. The charge. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong one. All right. Both players were charged with obstructing governmental administration and disorderly contact, while Stefalosha was charged also with resisting arrest, and then Cheech was charged with second-degree harassment. This is per Chris Vivlamore of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. If you remember, Thabo Sefolosha suffered major damage to one of his legs. Bones were broken. Ligaments were torn, to the point even now they're saying that this guy might need to be ready for the beginning of next season. I saw a sit-down interview with Jeff Zilgett on television. He was talking about how he's still in pain right now. He can't get up the stairs. He can barely hold his babies. It's a bad look, man. It's a bad look, and this stuff is on camera, showing what I consider to be, in my opinion, excessive force being used against somebody who had nothing to do with what, like dudes in there getting shanked. And you pick out the two tallest dudes in there, and it's like, you know what? Let's wrestle them to the ground and break one of their legs. Just a bad look, man. And I usually tell people I don't feel sorry when rich dudes go through regular people things, but this isn't regular for anybody. You know what I mean? This isn't a regular thing for anybody. Being thrown to the ground for doing absolutely nothing and having your leg broken with an aspartame. Yeah, this is a bad look, and I do feel bad for this dude, man. When you talk about a man who says he can't even pick up his babies and get upstairs in his house, get up and downstairs in his house, that's pain. Like, that ain't no regular like fracture. That's a break through your leg, and ligaments have been damaged. Like, we talking about this dude who is already on the other side of 30, if I'm not mistaken. Like, you messing with this dude's livelihood and the rest of his career, man. Whatever he can get out of the NYPD. Yeah, get all of it, get every last drop of it, because you ain't deserve that. And if you're an Atlanta Hawks fan, I would assume that you'd be PO'd about it as well. It's a very, very, this is a very, very unfortunate thing as far as that goes. Okay, so I talked about the Blackhawks already. Good, that's out the way. And now, one of my favorite, and we'll get to this NFL stuff here in just a second. Brittany Griner. Oh, Brittany Griner, the new age deadbeat dad. Oh my God,
amen,
dude.
Amen.
This broad,
amen.
Well, it's obviously not hers. This broad is like on some. I was pressured into being married. She trying to holler out. She ain't know that this chick was having a baby, or her wife Glory. It's funny. Her wife name is still Glory Johnson instead of Glory Griner. So I guess. What do like gay marriages don't do that? They don't swap. I don't know. Maybe
no, because at one point she was going by Johnson Griner.
Oh,
but
was she?
Yeah, but since they getting in the know, man, it's like it never happened.
And by the way, I had the timeline correct too. Yeah, it was the day after. It's like I'm preggers, and Brittany was like, "All right, cool, I'm out."
Yeah.
I ain't even trying to laugh at her struggles, man, because this is bad news. But what the hell, man?
Mean that girl was having sex. She was having sex with some dude.
No, she wasn't, dude. This is what I'm about to get to. No, this didn't happen. That's not what happened. Okay. Her quote to Us Weekly. This was just Monday, as a matter of fact. Yesterday. She says, quote, "I am truly saddened by the recent turn of events and was not expecting to have our marriage end so abruptly." She's a 24-year-old young lady, as a matter of fact, too. She goes on to say that, to clarify that she did get pregnant via IVF, in vitro fertilization, using her egg and a donor sperm. She also says, quote, "At no stage was Brittany pressured to undertake the fertility process," end quote. Quote, "In fact, throughout the entire process, Brittany was a willing participant, consenting," here's the important part, "and signing the necessary documents that needed to be signed in order to move forward with the treatments," end quote. You know what that means? There it is. Yeah. I don't even have my bell ready either, dude. Yeah, dude.
Once you start signing paperwork, that's it.
I got to give you one on that. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. Give it to me. Why did it take so long? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, give you one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, this is
like a mug.
This is the weirdest thing ever, dude. So Griner actually spoke with ESPN on June 8th. She said that marrying this chick Glory was, quote, unquote, a huge mistake. Quote, prior to us getting married, I knew I shouldn't have went through with it, and I talked to Glory about it, but sometimes you feel pressured into things, end quote. That's a bad look, man. Like, that's a bad look, man. She also claimed that their marriage was based on, quote, unquote, fraud and duress. What the hell is happening, dude? What the hell is this? What the hell, man? How does this happen? We talking April, cuz. It's July. It's the middle of June, excuse me. April. These broads got into a fight. Month later, married. Month after that, yeah, I'm out. Oh, no, excuse me. Month after that, preggers, then I'm out. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you fooled me. You weren't the person I thought you were.
We need to find a lesbian, dude, because I need to find out about this. Like, this has to set well, actually, you know what? This is a case for gay marriage, because apparently it's nothing different than heterosexual marriage. This crap happens all the time, dude. Yeah, it's the same crap that dudes do to chicks. Yeah, you know what? I love you, baby, but 28 days later, I don't know more, and you about to be pregnant. Here's the other part about her being pregnant too, that if she decided it was some sort of breach of contract, based on the fact of what she does for a living, she's already suspended 7 games. But then she's going to have to sit out more time because why? She's preggers. Yeah, that's lost wages, cuz. Like, I'm not a lawyer, and I didn't stay in the Holiday Inn suite last night either, but yeah, I've heard those terms before, and it sounds like one of those things like you talking about somebody defrauding. It's something like you defrauded her to put a baby in her, dude. You defrauded her, like, yeah, we're going to be together. I'm going to be the baby mama daddy or whatever, you know, however that works. Yeah. And now I'm out. What?
Yeah, she could have got with some NBA dude to do that.
Well,
like any random dude would have did that.
Yeah, dude.
I'm out this thing.
That's terrible, man. God, man. Yeah. Like, what's happening with all these stories and making me feel bad for people? Because that's weird. And by the way, go to our Instagram account. You can see. I guess I think you posted something earlier today that the happy birthday to Tupac today, right? You did that this morning.
Yeah.
At Sports Kings Live, go ahead and do that.
I was getting ready for my run. I said, "Oh, it's Pac's birthday."
Dude would have been 44 today. 44 years old.
Pac and Rodney Perry the same exact age. Yeah.
What are you saying, dude?
Man.
What are you saying?
No.
It should have been Rodney. You should have took Pac. Take Rodney instead.
No. Because that's Rodney's little thing on his stand-up. You got to see his stand-up now. It's funny. But that's one of his things, like, because he did it right when he turned 44. Like, right around the time he turned 44. So that was the thing, like, you know, people asking him to do stuff. He'd be like, what? I'm 44 years old. I ain't got to do whatever, you know. Kids asking to do stuff. He throw that out. Yeah, it was just fun. But, yeah, Pac, man, like, it's amazing that Pac would have been 44, man. I mean, because Pac's been gone for a long time.
Yeah.
You talking about September 13, 1996. Like, you know, I remember that day like it was yesterday. I mean, it's amazing, man.
That was a weird day, too. Brod's crying on the radio and stuff. I was like, wait, did you know him?
Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, 1996.
Weird.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but Pac is one of these dudes. I tell anybody and everybody, you know, to get into that whole greatest rapper thing. Like, I'm never just go get into that greatest rapper thing, the greatest rapper ever of all time. Like, you know, but the thing I will say about Tupac was that dude was a worker. You know, I read an article the other day that Jacob York, who used to own Big Cat Records here in Atlanta, but he used to be an engineer for Bad Boy. And, you know, they did this little article, and they were talking about how none of Biggie's stuff ever ended up on the cutting room floor, right? And turned into other songs later on after he died. He was like, yeah, because Biggie would come in, and we used all of Biggie's stuff. He was like, Biggie would come in for a 45-minute session, you know, lay down his rhymes, and then he's out the door. And I was like, well, that's because he was damn lazy. Like, you know, like I say, Pac was a worker, man.
Well, you know, and I appreciate Biggie was like, he was like the pioneer of the one take. Like, you ever heard those stories of him and Jay-Z? That story they did about that Brooklyn song they did? They just sit in the room for like 30 minutes, just walking back and forth,
Yeah.
bobbing their head and talking to themselves. And then they both just hit the booth. Boom, one take and it's over.
Yeah, I've heard all that. But guess what he left his fans with? Nothing.
I mean, because he knew